Hi guys, so for this Spanish lesson you do need to have downloaded the resource. That's got a few things on there for you with the listening task and the final writing task that I would like to provide some feedback on. So make sure you've got that ready, otherwise pen and paper would be fabulous. So your first activity here is a revision of adjectives and their agreements. In the yellow boxes at the bottom of the screen, you have got to decide which adjective goes in the gap and make sure it is the correct agreement. So let's do number one together. María es una chica muy something porque le encanta practicar deporte. So Maria is a very something girl because she loves to practice sports. Let's have a look at the options below, and we've got activo or activa. That would go best here because we're saying she's active. It's a girl, so it's activa. See if you can do the rest of me and come back for the answers. Okay, so hopefully you are back for the answers. Number two is seria. You might be thinking, oh, but I put serio because I'm a boy. And yes, I understand your reasoning there. However, we have the noun una persona, which is feminine singular, so that's why it needs to be seria. Una persona muy seria. Number three, my boyfriend is quite caring, cariñoso. He loves to give me hugs. Number four, normalmente mis padres no son generosos. My parents are not generous. Solo me dan dinero si lo necesito. Really nice phrase there. They only give me money if I need it. Number five, Juan es un chico seguro, so he's a safe guy. Nunca duda de sus decisiones. He never doubts his decisions. Mi profesora es amable, friendly. Raramente se enfada o grita. She rarely gets angry or shouts. Los niños son muy divertidos because it's plural masculine. Están todo el rato jugando. They are always playing. Okay, so today we're looking at el matrimonio, which means marriage in Spanish, and we're going to be exploring this idea of marriage through reading, listening, and writing. Have a quick look at this. Got a nice cute photo of a doggy. What do you think the text is saying? Got an idea? Here we go. So a friend, someone who loves you even after meeting you. So this is obviously all to do with marriage because when you get married, or if you know someone who's got married, you obviously hope that they still love each other. Right. You've got two slides coming up now. I'd like you to have a look at this vocabulary, review it, make any notes, because you're going to need it for this lesson. So pause the video whenever you need to make any notes. So this is slide 1 and this is slide 2. Okay, so we need to be recapping on the near future as well, because obviously marriage is something that's going to happen in the future. Make any notes on this if you choose to do so. So when to use the near future? To say something that is going to happen. Formation, take a look. 1, 2, 3. You might have seen this in class before with me. Part 1, we use ir in the present tense. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. Part 2, it's just the letter A. So voy a, vas a, va a, so on and so forth. And number 3, it's an infinitive. And these are some examples. So hablar, to speak, ir, to go, bailar, to dance. So if I wanted to say, I am going to speak, I need to be looking for part 1, which is voy, I am going. We just add a for part 2 and part 3, hablar, to speak, put it all together, voy a hablar. Right, using the previous slide, I would like you to fill in the gaps using the correct form of ir. The challenge is to translate these sentences because there's some new vocab in here and it's got some great sentences for you. So number 1, mi marido y yo, something, hacer una fiesta. Is it going to be I, you, he, she, we, so on and so forth. Give yourself about 5 minutes for this. Okay, so hopefully you have got these as the following answers. Mi marido y yo, whenever something and I is going to be we, so vamos a hacer una fiesta. Mi amiga Pilar, we're talking about a friend who is a girl, so it's going to be va. Número 3, los padres de Aurelia van. Los padres is the clue, it's plural. Número 4, mi novia no quiere, pero yo voy. Big clue there with the pronoun of yo here. So, pero yo voy. Y tú, big clue here, tú, you singular, vas a echar de menos a Nuria. And these would be your translations for 1 to 5. Notice how number 1's slightly different. Even though we've said hacer, which is to do or to make, doesn't make sense to say that as in to do or to make a party. So they're going to have a party. The order here, los padres de Aurelia, changes to the apostrophe use in English, Aurelia's parents. Okay. So remember that vocab from the beginning? Let's see. Set yourself a timer of 10 minutes and I'm going to show you those slides again and I want you to try and remember as much as you can from the vocab in Spanish and write the answers in English. Here is slide 1 and here is slide 2. Pause the video and go back. Okay, so hopefully you've got the answers ready for those vocab slides and these are what you hopefully have managed to pick out for slide 1 and the next slide is here for you. Don't worry if you haven't got the answers for them. That was a very quick fire to see if we could recall this new vocab. Okay, so you've got this slide in front of you about the conditional and the future tense. You've got 2 questions. When do you use each tense and what are the similarities and differences? Give yourself 5 minutes and come back. Make any notes if you need to. Okay, so using each tense. The conditional tense is when we would be doing something. So it's more of a dream tense because you're hoping. You've got a dream. And then the future tense is when something will happen. Now you're probably thinking, well, we've just seen the near future and now we've got a different future tense. You are correct. In Spanish, we have 2 future tenses. The near future, also known as the immediate future, is what is going to happen. So it's almost certain that it's going to happen. So I am going to have lunch and I am going to have a sandwich. But if it's a bit further in the future, we're most likely going to be using the future tense because I would like to go on holiday and that will be sometime this year, but I don't know when. Okay, so some similarities and some differences. So we've got for both tenses, you do not remove AR and ER. You just add the ending you want. And the irregulars have the same stem. So here we've got caber for cabra, decir, dir, haber, abra, and they're exactly the same here as well. They've just got different endings. So I would say diría. I will say diré. Excellent, guys. So using that information about the future and the conditional tense, I would like you to translate the top 3 sentences into English and the bottom 3 sentences into Spanish. My clue for these 3 sentences down here is to look at how these reflexive verbs have been changed. So it doesn't say casarse, it says casarme, because we're talking about myself. This will help you for these ones here. Give yourself 5 minutes and come back for the answers. Okay, so number 1, me casaré en una iglesia. I will get married in a church. We know it's the future because it's just a singular E accent. Es importante casarme cuando sea mayor. It is important to get married when I am older. This is a grade 9 sentence here because you have an impersonal opinion, es importante. You have got a reflexive verb that you have changed into the first person because you don't want to say it is important that I get married when I am older. You want it to flow. So es importante casarme cuando sea mayor. This structure here is the present subjunctive. Cuando sea mayor, when I am older. There's a doubt that you could be getting married in the future. You're not sure when it's going to happen. You just hope it does. So sea comes from the verb ser, to be. Next one. Me gustaría jubilarme lo más pronto posible. Wouldn't that be nice? I would like to retire as soon as possible. And the 3 sentences into Spanish. In the future, I will have 2 children. This had an irregular structure. En el futuro tendré 2 hijos. This is the irregularity from tener. I would like to get married. You could have had me gustaría or quisiera and then casarme. So from here, to get married. And I will never get divorced. Nunca me divorciaré. So it comes from divorciarse, but we've got to take off the ME and put it here. Okay, so you have got a listening now. All the instructions are on the worksheet. Listen and read Anya's response. That's just the first thing you need to do. The amber is to fill in the gaps with the missing word in Spanish. So listen and write your answer. And number 3 is to look at the English phrases under the text and you've got to find the Spanish in the text. I have also given you the transcript as extra support if you need this. Okay, so come back for the answers, which are as follows. You got your amber on the left and your red on the right. Pause the video and get these noted down. Okay, so this is key vocabulary you're going to need for the next few tasks. You can pause the video and make any notes. And here we go. So, what are the statistics telling us about these páginas de cita, these dating websites? Pause the video, give yourself 2 minutes to have a read through and use the key vocab to help you decide. Okay, so did you get this as your understanding? Quite interesting really, isn't it? Right, and now, la primera cita, the first date. Ooh. Okay, so you've got 2 choices with this text. You can either summarize it in bullet points. So when you're summarizing something in English, you are taking out the key points. You're not translating, you are just going, that's important, and you're writing it in English. Or you can translate the whole text. That's the red challenge. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes for this. Okay, so this would be your summary in English, 3 main points. And this would be your translation for the red task. There are a couple of alternatives, so you could have said demonstrate or show, and you've got a couple of different ways for saying to have a first impression or to have or for a first impression. Okay, you have got a reading task. Imagine this is a take 10 in class. You've got Eduardo talking about when he is an adult, cuando sea adulto. You've got a mixture of conditional tense in here. Task 1, verdad o falso, verdadero o falso, so is it true or false? Busca en el texto, find the Spanish for these, and then you've got to translate these sentences into Spanish. These are partially in the text, so you can always use that to help you. 10 minutes, guys, and come back for the answers. Okay, so hopefully you have successfully read through and answered as much as you can in 10 minutes. And these would be your answers for number 1. So it went false, true, false, false. And these are your answers for finding Spanish from the English phrases. This one, you might have thought you were looking for something like personalidad. That would be correct, but in the text they have the synonym of el carácter. And then your translation into Spanish were as follows. Make sure you got a note of these, especially this one here. This is a really nice one. Sense of humour is more important than beauty. Okay, your last task, guys, this is the one that I want to give you some feedback on. So you are going to answer these 5 questions. ¿A qué edad te gustaría casarte? How old would you like to be when you get married? ¿Cómo sería tu novio o novia ideal? Apariencia, carácter. So you've got the same question here, but they're asking for two different aspects. You did this most recently. Apariencia, cognate for appearance. Carácter, we saw that in the last task. ¿Cuántos hijos te gustaría tener? We know hijos is children. ¿Cuántos means how much or how many? So I'll leave you to work the rest of that out. And ¿qué te gustaría hacer con tu novio o novia ideal? What would you like to do? So think about sports, music, traveling, all those sort of things. Minimum 50 words, please, guys, and submit to myself when you are done. Muchas gracias, chicos, y adiós.